Hey, what's up? I'm Steph, and today we're continuing our behind-the-scenes journey of our studio build. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch part 1 and come back. So we left off in August, where we just finished repairing, restoring, and repainting the entire place. Now we could start the fun part of decorating and designing our lighting grid. So let's talk about paint choice first, because that works hand in hand with lighting. I went with flat paint because I didn't want to have glossy, reflective walls that would create hotspots in any of our shots. Light also reflects color, so I wanted to go with a deep, saturated color, but not so saturated that it would affect the skin tones of the people in the room. We ended up going with Poseidon by Bear in the blue room and Sycamore Grove in the green room. These look beautiful, deep, and rich when the lights are off and it's just natural daylight, and they also look vibrant when the lights are on. Now, y'all just watched me spend an entire month patching, priming, and painting every hole in this place, so the very concept of creating more holes truly breaks my heart. That's why before making our lighting installation permanent, I wanted to test what was actually going to work for us and get a few shoots in the books. My plan was to create a 3-point setup that would allow us coverage from any angle in the room. We didn't know what size bands we would be getting or how we'd arrange them in the space, but we also wanted to create a turnkey solution for interviews and podcasts. I knew that for our key light, I was going to retire my Godox F600 buy from my field kit and designate it to the studio. I bought a telescoping wall spreader from Modern Grip, 2 pancake-sized Apple boxes, and went to Mutual Hardware for my speed rail. So I just bought a bunch of speed rail for the studio to make an overhead lighting grid. And unfortunately, my van, because of the partition I have, actually cuts the usable space down from 11 feet to 7. So when picking up 10-foot pieces of speed rail, this is how you do it. I've got this going all the way up into my cab, and I'm holding it up throughout the van with 3 pieces of bungee cable that not only ties it together, but also suspends it mid-air in the van so that this hopefully does not come loose and impale me or others, or at the bare minimum, break my windshield while I'm driving. Now, this wasn't a cut and dry process because we have an older pre-war building, so the walls are not always flush nor even. And once you get the placement of the wall spreader just right, getting this massive light up there is a whole other challenge. Once it was up, I custom ordered a magic cloth insert from Jason at Brooklyn Soft Lighting and a 40-degree egg crate from Reflection Lighting. Both of their websites can be found in the description below. I knew I would never need to use this light at 100%, so I didn't care about losing the output from a thicker diffusion. I also needed to control the spill because in a room this size, that light was going to go everywhere, and I wouldn't be able to shape up any of my images. So for our fill lights, I also retired my Amaran 100X and my Aputure 300D Mark II and put those in 2 Amaran 4-foot by 1-foot strip boxes. I originally hung those with Very poles because they weigh virtually nothing, but since then they've also been upgraded to telescoping wall spreaders. I went with these 2 lights because, honestly, I didn't want to have to invest in new lights for the studio as we weren't open and therefore not profitable yet, and because I knew we wouldn't need more output than that. I did buy the 4-foot strip boxes though, because I needed to maximize the spread while keeping them narrow enough to not interfere with my headroom. That way I could still get my wide shots. I also bought custom egg crates for these lights, but not diffusion inserts because I knew that they would be temporary. As of today, the 300D has already been upgraded to a Godox F400 bipanel, which is a 2x4 light that doubles the spread, making it softer on my subjects as an eye light and a fill light, while still maintaining all the headroom that I need. And most importantly, it allows me to dial in color temperature on all the lights without using any gels now. As of recording this video, I do plan to upgrade the 100X to a Godox panel, but I'm debating between getting an F400R or an F200SR, and if that changes by the time I post this, I'll let you know in the description. Now let's talk about distro. At first, I had nowhere to put all these ballast boxes and cables, and they were just sitting on the floor. And that was ugly as hell. So I then made a floating shelf that would run the length of our door frame, meant to hold and organize all of our cables and ballasts. All of these lights are controlled over Bluetooth in the Sidus and Godox apps on an iPad, and for now it's free and easy. But I do hope to upgrade to Sidus One in the future so that I can control all of these units over CRMX in Sidus Link Pro. So that covers us for our overhead lighting, but I knew we'd need something on the ground in the background to help level out our images. The first step was building a custom radiator cover for this cast iron unit in the back so that we'd be able to rest items on top like practical lamps and props, while also minimizing the reflections of this giant silver object. Once that was done, I started experimenting with what props we already had lying around to add some sparkle to the background. I'm having a lot of fun right now with this candle warmer that I got for Christmas, combined with this random hourglass that a friend gave me. But I'm definitely going to switch up the background items in between videos and see how we can get funky. After we filmed our first session in here, I knew I needed to add another practical to this back corner because the space was too empty and it fell off into the shadows. I picked this lamp off of Wayfair because I liked the design and the color, and I popped 3 Aputure B7c bulbs in there. And of course, I had to have a plan for this big 9-foot window. This window faces a private backyard, so I wanted to take advantage of that and put sheer curtains up so that we could blast the light through it whenever we wanted. I went with a very light, unbleached muslin material, and I've been placing a 1200X right outside to play as either sun rays, golden hour, or moonlight. And I would be remiss to miss talking about the lighting in the green room. This part is super simple. The green room primarily serves as just that, our green room, where people can chill on the couch, watch the monitors during set, or just do work in a cozy environment when we aren't filming. We bought a large bicolor arc lamp to help fill in the space, both for ambiance as well as a background practical, and I've been motivating that light even more by mounting an Astra panel off the ceiling or a Ray 60C to match the color temperature. When we do need to light it for something more prevalent like podcasts or interviews, I have extra lights and C-stands around the studio to help fill the space in. As time goes by, if we find ourselves filming in this room more and more, I may set up another Varipole with some small lightweight units overhead, but this room is primarily where we keep our gear, and we designed everything to be mobile and on wheels. So at any point, we can roll this tool chest out, roll these shelves out, and we even chose a couch without a frame, so at the end of the day, we're really just moving cushions. Now that we've done a few shoots in here and really lived with the space, we finally know what works and what doesn't. That testing period offered us the confidence to lock in this lighting plot and move forward towards a permanent overhead install. Now I do want to be clear, wall spreaders are not something that you can just set and forget. Walls expand and contract with weather and temperature changes, especially in older buildings like this one. Ours are supporting lightweight fixtures, all under 10 pounds, and we've shut off the heat in this room to avoid rapid temperature swings. Plus, we're in here constantly checking tension and safety. But with those precautions in place, this setup finally gives us what we were after from the very beginning. A flexible, repeatable lighting environment that works for bands of any size, clean interviews, podcasts, and future experiments without reinventing the wheel every single shoot. So that's where part 2 lands. The lighting backbone is in, the workflow is dialed, and the studio is officially functional. If you're building your own space or even just thinking about it, hopefully this gives you a realistic look at how much trial and error actually goes into making a studio feel effortless on camera. I'll see you in the next one.